See love in all things.
Hello everyone, this is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to another conversation about your Kundalini awakening process. And in this conversation, I would like to talk about suicide. Serious subject. Inside the Kundalini, a person can become very distanced from what they had before the Kundalini, with a relationship to society, to their family, friends, and even to themselves. You know, there's this tremendous inner conflict of what once was and what now is. And I would like you to take a look at that and realize that this is merely part of the transformation. This is not a permanent fixture of a Kundalini awakening or activation. It's a transient position. As we grew up with the 5 body awareness without the Kundalini, and then with the Kundalini comes this completely other set of parameters, a widened parameter, so to speak, and sometimes we can get caught in the mix of trying to make it harmonious. And so people will get suicidal at times. People will feel like they so do not belong in this society, on this planet, in this body, that they will constantly think about, well, this is just ridiculous. Why do I want to go here? If this is enlightenment, well, geez, do I really want it? And they may ask themselves the question, is this a good day to die? And I'm going to suggest that no day is a good day to die, physically. Okay? The best thing that you may want to consider retracting its control over the choices you make are the ego. And it is the ego that is having such a difficulty. It is the ego that is asking the person, is this a good day to die? It isn't the Kundalini. The Kundalini totally respects your life, and it is in fact expanding your ability to partake of life and to have life partake of you. Suicide is really not a good option with regards to Kundalini. You've had life after life after life after life of experiencing refinement life cycles in order to even have the Kundalini. That's a big deal. That's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years that you alone have gone through a maturation process, a spiritual maturation process, in order to be able to even come to the Kundalini. That is not something to be ended because an ego is unfamiliar with the territory that it's currently residing in. So think about this and feel the truth in these words. Feel it. It is absolutely true. You may stumble a little bit while you're trying to figure out a way to harmonize with the Kundalini. Okay? Just as the butterfly inside the cocoon grows wings inside the cocoon, the butterfly may be thinking, my God, I've got wings, but I'm in this enclosed space. What the heck? What am I supposed to do with these wings? I can't even move them. What good are these wings to me now? It's only after they get out of the cocoon do they understand and are able to feel the strength of the wings that they have. This is very similar to the Kundalini person who is inside of this change and this transformation, struggling to understand what is going on. Why is this happening? Why don't I feel like I used to feel? You don't feel the way you used to feel because you are not the person you used to be. You have Kundalini now. And Kundalini changes everything. And I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to suggest to you, that you find the patience and the self-resolve within you and your life and your consciousness and your ego and the way you feel with your emotions, the way you think with your mental body, the way you interact with yourself and others in your psychological body, and the way you feel the Kundalini coming through you and to you through your spiritual body. Have that conversation with all those 5 bodies. And the only one who's really going to complain hard is the ego body, the psychological body. Okay? Put those complaints on the shelf for a time. Let the Kundalini mature within you. Follow the safety protocols. Keep that tongue up. Keep those fingers locked, just like this. Stop your intake of caffeine. Stop your intake of high fructose corn syrup. Stop your intake of the foods that the Kundalini guides you away from. Pay attention to your feelings and the intuitions that the Kundalini brings you in your dreams and through your interactions with other people. Pay attention. And have confidence and competence in your confidence with regard to the process that you're in. Let yourself fully accept what is happening to you and allow yourself to really come into an egoic balance. Don't fight this. Don't resist this. The more you resist, the harder it gets, the more painful it gets. Put your ego on the shelf. And I know, it's easy to, wow, geez, how do you put your ego on the shelf? I'll suggest that you put your ego on the shelf by not buying into your fear, by not buying into your irritation. Realize that you are indeed within the Kundalini awakening process. And because this is a process, there is a linear stream of events that will typically happen to a person. Take yourself into that linear stream and understand that just like you're on a river, you will go past different stages of both sides of the river. If you look on the banks, you'll see sand, you'll see trees, you'll interact a little bit with rapids, you may have to go around rocks. Well, it's the same thing with the Kundalini. There may be barriers to your path, and you may have to learn how to go right, left, up, down. And that's all good. Just because you're a mature individual doesn't mean that you have lost the capacity to learn. I'm going to suggest that the Kundalini is reinitiating and has an agenda of you learning about this process within yourself. Learning how to go right, left, up, down, in, out. Put your ego on the shelf by not killing it, not obliterating it, but training it by not responding to your desires. Typically, we will try to focus on those areas of life that we're most familiar with. And that also includes our negative or our negative self-worth issues or some of the issues that are more challenging for us. Stop that inner dialogue. If you have negative inner dialogue, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that, oh gosh, this isn't I'm not worthy of this, or I'm not, stop that. That's beginning to retrain your ego. Stop that inner dialogue that is self-hurtful. Replace it with something that, yes, I can do this, yes, I am worthy of that. Because I guarantee you, you are. The Kundalini does not make mistakes in its choices of those whom it's going to express through. That is never a mistake. Okay. The only mistake that is made is through the ego of the individual and the lack of ego releasement over the controls and actions and thinking of the individual that the ego is allowed to have through that individual. So stop your negative self-internal dialogue. That's one way. The other way is to really put a curb on your compulsions. Kind of like what they call impulse buying at the grocery store. Okay, stop that. It's just like, oh, I want that candy bar. Woo. Put a hold on that. Ego will tell you, yeah, we want that candy bar. And you, as a higher mental self, will go, No. I'm not going to have that candy bar. And neither are you, Mr. or Mrs. Ego. Boom. You don't take that. You have begun to train the ego. It's the same thing with the safeties. You know, remember to put that tongue up behind your upper front teeth. Remember that when you can, put your fingers in this position. Remember that when you're meditating, you put the fingers in position, you put the tongue up, you put the eyes up. Remember that. Okay? Every day you do this. Remember to do the 5 Tibetans every day for a balanced flow of the Kundalini through you. Remember to do the pranayama, the alternate nostril breathing. Remember to do the meditation. For those of you that are doing Tritaka, that have specifically talked to me about Tritaka, do the Tritaka in the way that we have discussed, you and I have discussed, doing the Tritaka. Do the meditation. And do these things every single day. Do not miss a day. And if you have a spare moment in your day and you're just kind of like waiting for somebody in the car or whatever, meditate. Don't play the phone game. Don't play a computer game. Don't listen to the radio. Don't watch TV. Meditate. Work with your process, and the process will work with you. Suicide will become the last thing on your mind or your emotional agenda. Okay? Remember this. Suicide is only through fear. The only thing that experiences fear is your ego. Everything else about you is fearless. Look at that when you try to put your ego on the shelf. Look at it. Wow. How much of my life is controlled by fear? Think about that. And as you move into a fearless expression, you will indeed be training your ego to be a fearless ego. And when that happens, the Kundalini fills in and strengthens it. Thank you for watching, and best wishes to you.
See